Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to teach you how to improve the rank, but we have something special. We have Swagga here. Swagga, go ahead and give a quick hello.
What up, everybody?
This is our newest SoaR member, and you know what's crazy? We had this idea. I know you guys really enjoyed 4B's gameplay, and I saw Swagga in ranked, and I was like, oh my gosh, this man is a grinder, and if you haven't, you got to check out his socials. He's relatable, he's funny, he's passionate, he's competitive, and in this footage, he's playing solo. So I was like, this is the perfect video. My man is on the grind and probably the most relatable footage you're going to see to actually improve on Apex. How do you feel about that, Swagga? Or we're gassing you up?
Man, I'm just a solo Giga Chat out here playing with some randoms, trying to rank up, and it's hard out here for a pimp. I'll tell you what.
100%, man. All right, so what we're going to do, look at that. I mean, that guy's got 146 count of action. This is actually a cracked lobby. And the reason why, it's Plat 3, but this is early on, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching, this is early on in the rank split. So Swagga is grinding solo, trying to make it out here. And it's tough. So I'm going to ask you right off the rip, whenever you drop, what is your thought process here? Talk me through what your thought process is, and we'll try to talk about if it's right, wrong, and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking for whatever's on my team comp. So if there's a beacon scan, obviously we have a bloodhound here. So usually like Alpha Base on the new Broken Moon map has that in that area. Also, of course, I'm playing Mad Maggie, my favorite legend. I main her mostly. I'm looking for an assault bin relatively close as well, so we can kind of get that Evo leveled up pretty quickly in the beginning of the game.
Very nice. You're already saying all the right things. Getting Evo, and look, you're getting contested here. As a solo, how does it feel being contested this early?
Man, I honestly love to get in the early game fight, especially just because it's all about leveling up that Evo as soon as you can. I'm looking for, you know, a guy kind of slipping like I got that first guy right there with my Maggie drill, and try to get that Evo up as quick as possible, because you never know when the third party is going to roll in, and you can't have those toilet paper shields walking around.
Agreed. I mean, having that wide arm, you get a massive crack here, you get a knock. That's your opening right there. Massive damage already done. And you're using controller. How do you feel about controller in ranked when everyone comes to you and says that aim assist is overpowered? How do you feel about that? What is your response?
I mean, it's definitely cracked. I'm not getting the aim assist that everybody else is getting. You know, they might got their like Cronus Zen packed in as well. I'm just, you know, playing me raw input as much as I basically can. You're definitely gonna see me missing some shots, but I don't think it's as OP as, you know, people say, because you got your PC players playing on mouse and keyboard, and at range, you guys can freaking beam me. I'm only useful up close. So, I mean, is there really even an argument?
So I'm going to pause here, because one thing is you got a knock, but you decided not to push. So this is where we get to kind of drill, and I get to add some input, right? Because you're kind of playing a bit of a support role, but you're entry. So what would be your response to why you didn't push when you got the knock and you have your teammates moving forward?
Yeah, because I thought at first there was multiple teams here. So I was just kind of trying to play it safe, especially using the Sentinel and an alternator here. I'm comfortable playing with the Sentinel, but I definitely should have probably pushed up a little bit sooner to put a little pressure on there. We did get the full kill early, so just getting that squad wipe sooner could prevent a third party as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I would have probably pushed a little bit sooner if I could have.
So you're getting the right mindset. There you go. So a lot of people wonder like when you should push, and that's always a problem. And keep in mind, even for people that are seasoned like Swagga playing the game, we all make this honest mistake. So I figured I'd highlight it, because I mean, you never know. It's all about getting that momentum. You already talked about it earlier, and I make these mistakes too. I mean, I'm just going to be very blunt. It's hard. This is not an easy game, and if you're watching this, you're going to see a lot of relatable stuff of like, okay, what's going on here, right? So you got your team. I mean, whenever you play with solos, do you generally keep your mic comms on or off? I know it's more personal preference because there's a lot of toxicity out there, but I kind of want your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm always hot mic'd up. I make sure that my teammates hear my comms constantly when I possibly can. Sometimes they don't like it. You know, obviously you get randoms that are super toxic, but at the minimum, I'll be calling out and you're going to be hearing from me.
That's good. I mean, it can be a little overwhelming, you know, having to, it's because you're putting yourself on the spot. And one thing I know about you, especially from what I've heard about you going to LGS, all these events, is that you are very bold and passionate about putting yourself out there in a good way. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that in a really, really positive way. So people don't know you, that you're approachable, that you're more than willing to talk, you're willing to say hello, And that is a quality that is admirable, I will be honest, especially when it comes to most gamers who are, let's be honest, maybe shut-ins, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I see you, I'm definitely walking up and saying hello. I mean, I'm all about the people. I'm a huge people person. So if you ever see me out in public, definitely stop by, say what's up. I'm down to hang out. I'll invite you to the barbecue. We eating good.
I love it. So your team has a lot of positive momentum here, and I love the fact that you guys are kind of acting on it. I know before it was a little slower, and then you kind of started reciprocating with that push. Now you're trying to get this rat. One thing I know is when should you stop pushing a rat is probably the bigger question. This happens a lot where everyone just tries to get them out. When do you personally feel enough is enough?
I think once you kind of get past that first POI, you don't know what's gonna, be around the corner. There could be another team just kind of waiting there. And, especially if you have like a bloodhound on your team, he's got that white raven. You really want them to like scan those as much as possible because, like I said, you don't know what's around the corner, right? Like you're just walking in blind. But the biggest advice I probably can give you is when you're in the drop ship, look around. Don't just focus in on your POI. That's how you get high kill games as well. You're looking around, seeing where all those other dive trails are, because you're going to be able to see, okay, hey, there's a team that's at core. Hey, there's a team that's at stasis array. If I want to play for a high kill game, I got to know where these other teams are, or really potentially where my third party potentially could be coming from.
And it's always hindsight 2020, right? Because there's something I noticed, and I wonder if somebody will comment about it. You have an alternator, but I believe there was a car SMG in that box. There's always going to be honest mistakes and stuff that you miss. So let's go back and let's take a look. I'm pretty sure that there was, but you got to loot fast in these scenarios, right? Car SMG and R301. It happens, right? It's just one of those things where, there's always stuff that you can fix. And this is why when people come in chat, it always surprises me when everyone's like, you should be doing this, should be doing that. When you're in the moment, man, it's that you feel the pressure and your brain just isn't processing everything that's happening. Right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me personally, since I'm playing an Assault Legend, the car is nice and it does the damage, but for me, I'm picking up the alternator every time just because it has the range, it has the ability to have that disruptor round on it, and especially playing as Maggie, I'm gonna pass the support bin at some time or another, and I'm gonna be able to put that on there. So that's my defense on that one.
Because I also saw you pass up on R99. I'm just saying, but that makes sense of getting the disruptor rounds. They're definitely slept on. They're pretty strong, right?
Yeah, the R99 got nerfed to the ground, honestly. I mean, I mostly run, especially if I'm playing Maggie, probably a shotgun, even though I'm a controller. Some people argue that I shouldn't do that, but most likely as far as SMGs, I'm probably going to run a Volt. I'm a big Volt enjoyer, but second to that is probably going to be the alternator.
Were you a Volt enjoyer before everyone in ALGS started using it? Because the Havoc, Volt, and I believe the Hemlock are some of the most popular weapons in ALGS at the moment. Keep in mind, this keeps changing as everyone keeps adjusting to the meta. Were you aware that in ALGS that it's a highly picked weapon?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the Volt was going to kind of break out, especially when the R99 got nerfed. And I was super interested a long time ago. I mean, the Digi plus the Volt was like a huge thing. I would say probably season 9, season 10, a lot of players were using it. And then it just kind of fell off, but I'm glad to see it's back.
Also in your footage here, I want to point out that you're always still focusing on the harvesters and your rotation, like you said at the start, which is huge. And I'm glad also you have such an importance in loadout. I think a lot of people that are ranking up when you want to rank up, how important your loadout is and your momentum to getting resources. And I see it. And what would you say, what would be your tip whenever you're playing solo and you're trying to keep this momentum, right, of grabbing harvesters, loot, and your teammates just don't move? How does that make you feel, and what do you do to circumvent it?
I mean, you really just have to be talking. You really have to be pinging like, hey, we're going over here. This is what we're doing. You kind of have to take the lead as the IGL and become like that Imperial Hal style aggression a little bit, because a lot of these guys are not going to listen to you. They're randoms. They don't care. They want to push. They want to do this. They want to go there. You kind of have to like take the lead a little bit and just kind of, direct them where to go, especially because getting Evo is just so much more important. You don't want to go into really round 3 or round even 2 with white shields. I mean, I see it so often, like a lot of teams today will push if they see a res happen, right?
Yeah.
And the second you see a white shield, if you poke at that player, oh man, you're getting sent. So getting those evos early as possible is just huge. So
I have another question for you before I forget it. What happens if you do take lead and they don't listen? I feel like a lot of people in the comment section will take your advice and take lead. What if you have just somebody that pushes against you and just doesn't do anything?
I'm trying to be like the best team player I possibly can. And so if I see a player that's kind of like outside the normal, and I'm going to pick on Octanes and Wraiths because it's usually them that are just wilding out. Y'all are straight just wilding, doing your own thing, pushing, and then I see you get knocked, and then of course you're rage typing in the Apex chat there. I try to stick with you as close as I can. I'm not as fast as an Octane playing Maggie. I can use my ball to catch up, but I'm gonna use that as like my entry frag into a building or something like that. So
true.
I typically try to stay as close as possible. If you can kind of handhold, I know it's a little bit cringe, but if you handhold with your teammates, you're gonna get a lot more done, even if they don't allow you to kind of be the IGL.
Would you agree with the statement, live together, die together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of times when you get separated and all it takes is a second. If you're not looking at your mini map or not looking at the distance between you and your teammates, that could be your life.
What the theme of this video I'm finding, and I'm going to probably work it in the title, is team play. The importance of team play. What would be your response to those? Because I feel like a lot of people watch, the creators and everything and hear what they say when they get mad at players who handhold. What do you feel about that? I have my own thoughts, but I'm really curious your thoughts because I love the fact you put the importance on team play, especially when it comes to ranked. But what about the creators who are like, oh, how gross are your team that you're holding hands and that you're just being on top of each other? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, literally just go and watch any streamer play, right? Like you watch the Watsons, you watch the Imperial Howls, you watch whoever you want to, right? You watch any of the pro play. Those guys are always together. They're successful because they play together. And when you play together, you're able to get bigger plays. You're able to be more confident in your own gameplay, to be honest.
I love the utility here, by the way. I want to highlight this. This is great. So I'm gonna back up here. I love your momentum here because I guess one of the things when you're playing solo, you're not always gonna have an insane round where you just get to run into everybody. But I love the fact no matter what that you're shoving and using your utility to move forward, which is a smart push because you got the jump on them. And you're using Maggie to be able to see through smoke. You just absolutely decimated those people. Can you talk us through like how you felt here and your thoughts to maybe give some tips?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Maggie's the greatest legend of all time. Right here, sliding in, that felt really good on that sniper. And then, of course, just following through. I knew they were going to have to slide down here. I thought it was a 3-stack, but it ended up just being a duo. But, I mean, again, this is why I picked up those disruptors, because I already had the guy slowed down as he was hit by that Maggie ball. And those disruptors just in the back are just lethal. I mean, he had no chance.
I mean, you proved me wrong on there too. I mean, I got to pick up the alternator, not sleep on it. It's interesting how many sleepers there are in the game. It's like even the Havoc, right? It's been the same way for like a year, maybe longer, and yet everyone sleeps on it. And there's a lot more sleepers than people realize.
The Havoc absolutely needs to get nerfed. I think there's just too many bullets in the mag at minimum. And the fact that everybody's picking up, like, it's a problem. And I think at this point, we just kind of have to, do what everybody else is doing and pick up the Havoc.
Let's talk about this moment. I don't mean to cut you off because it's pretty big. They're pushing forward, but why didn't you push?
Yeah, so I'm calling out to my teammates right now, and they're not listening. And basically, I'm saying, hey, the zone is over here. That's a solo player, I believe, that they're chasing. And I said, they have to come to where we are. It's round 3 right now. And, obviously I'm playing with the Sentinel, so I can play from a little bit of a distance. But at this point, I'm like, hey, you guys are potentially throwing if that storm comes, because we have a very small window to kind of get through. At this point, there's like 22 seconds left.
What would you do if they went over there and just died?
Man, honestly, it would suck. I mean, I would try to look to see if there was a one shot, as you can see, I'm kind of rotating over there just to try to potentially help. But
yeah, it looks like it was
this
a
is
duo, maybe?
This is a hard
kinda...
decision right here.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go in with them and you can help clean it up faster, remember, live together, die together. I did see your mic go off trying to get them to stay with you, and that's just one of them where you're kind of stuck in a hard place, right? It's just like darned if you do, darned if you don't, right?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of trust, right? Like, obviously we've been winning fights. We're doing pretty well in this lobby here, and I feel like they thought that they could take them out, but there's that slight chance that they don't, and then our whole game is grief. Then what, right?
True, especially when all you got to do is turn around and then gate them to the zone. That would be the best tip, because at this point, because you don't know what's in front of you. What if you move forward and there was a team there, right?
Yeah, I mean, anything can possibly happen at that point.
Good shots here. And now because of that, you get to take the lead because you get to kind of work them in. But that could have been really risky, right? That's one of those plays where it's like you're split and now you're kind of divided in the middle, and it just feels like it's like random, right? It just feels like RNG in the moment.
Yep.
Of your teammates, and that's not fun to deal with. And you got to stick to your principles and fundamentals, right? Because you know that it's not wrong to gate them rather than just running and getting knocked and then potentially having somebody lost whenever you have, zone 4 trucks, that's not an easy zone.
Yeah, if you don't have heat shields, and those heat shields barely survive in round 4, and I mean, you gotta rotate in as fast as you possibly can because it'll eat you away.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing it here where they're this happens also with solos, is that you'll get a team that's maybe they're queued together and they start getting really confident on just everything because they're like, oh, we're just gonna win everything. That momentum kind of spirals, and you have to keep an eye on that momentum.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen it so many times where I'm like, man, I got like 5-6 kills here. We're dominating. Everybody's just dying that comes across us. But that same energy can get you killed. That same energy.
So just keeping it all locked. That's a great Maggie kill. Oh my God, they all spurse. Massive damage there. Really nice. That was a great Maggie drill.
Yeah, as all the mics are peaking.
Yeah, everyone's realizing what's going on.
We're locked in at this moment right here as I whiff a shot. Unfortunate.
Oh, another team. It gets really tough here, especially when you're trying to finish up another team and then you have another one right in your back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like you took the queue up together, stick together, which is good. And then you guys are getting at least stabilizing here, which is positive. Got that zone behind you, which is a little risky. Oh man. Oh, that hurt.
That hurt my soul.
We're getting towards the tail end here. Guys, if you haven't, be sure to follow Swagga on all socials, on Twitter, on his YouTube channel, on his Kick channel, and TikTok, of course, because that's where he posts, I believe, the most, right?
Yep, always on the tickety-tockety.
Be sure to check out all his socials as he gets here and finishes up in clutches. Not take too much zone damage.
Yeah, I had a panic Maggie ball coming out there. I was looking for somebody to try to go for a trick shot, but my teammates kind of took the lead on that one.
Yeah, true. Well, is there any final thoughts as I kind of let the footage run at the beginning here, that you have any final tips for anybody out there, or even any final callouts? Any thoughts?
Yes. Always play with the support legend on your team. It's not always about just pushing everything, especially if you're trying to gain RP. And we need some more Mad Maggies out there. Y'all sleeping on Mad Maggie, on God.
Well, guys, we appreciate all of you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next episode. See you, everybody.
Peace.